Welcome to the We Can Do It Women movement, where women 60 and wiser step into the spotlight and make the rest of their lives the best of their lives. I'm your host, Debra Morrison, a wealth building expert and champion for extraordinary women just like you. For over 47 years, I've helped women secure their financial futures, and now I'm on a mission to ignite a revolution. Yes, showing the world that at 60, 70, and beyond, some of us might be slowing down a nickel, but by and large, we're all just getting started. And our esteemed guest today is none other than Julie Flippin, who is a transformational business and sales coach, best known for empowering entrepreneurs through personal development, practical strategies, and holistic coaching programs. Julie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here with you today. I can't even express my admiration for you and all the work you do. It's
Well,
beautiful.
thank you. Well, we're empowered and enlightened by women like you, so we are eager to listen to what wisdom you're going to bring to us today. And I'll give our audience a little tiny bit more background from my research, and that is obviously you're a transformational business and sales coach, and you empower entrepreneurs to grow from the inside out. Right? Sometimes we like external things. Oh, well, you didn't get the algorithm right. And so, no, you're talking about starting from the inside, like where all the answers are, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to jump your turf because I am not. But you talk about practical strategies meeting powerful intuition. And we'll go deeper into that. But I just wanted you to opine on that because to me, that's a wonderful alchemy.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, Deborah, it's so interesting in my experience. I think all of us have those people we admire, the coaches, the mentors, the Oprahs, and if we could just be like them, we think everything would be okay. And the truth is, they're who they are because of the work they've done within, the ownership they take, the self-love, so they can show up so beautifully and powerfully.
I think that is my new word lately, and I've like taken to it in the past couple months is agency, right?
Agency. Love it.
Take ownership, take agency, because it feels to me, I don't know why, I didn't even thought about it until right now to talk about it. It's kind of like, when I think of an agency, I think of like, I mean, the center, a lot of people typically, or potential for a lot of people. And really, we are little compact versions of quite a few different talents, personalities, experiences, and so forth and so on. So that's why, maybe that's really why I love the agency. But let me get off of my thing and onto yours. Let's talk about your diverse background because you were executive management, corporate training. You founded 3 successful companies in an accounting and bookkeeping business. You've run a private psychotherapy practice and you lead workshops and retreats focused on intertransformational business growth all around the world. So talk to us about how you got into corporate, and then when you transitioned from corporate to your own business.
Yeah, thank you. Well, going into corporate was brilliant because that's what I was capable of doing. I think I ran away from home when I was 17, got into a one-girl office, and they brought their accountants in and trained me.
Wow.
And so I had this accounting background, and I went from there into larger corporations. And I was brilliant in corporate work because I was being whatever you wanted me to be. I could do that. I never thought there were any chauvinists because I was one of them. And the deeper I got into that, the heavier and the more I was looking for relief because I was in so much pain and I was so afraid someone was going to find out that I wasn't really that. Like the imposter syndrome, they were going to discover I couldn't do what I said I could do.
So talk
And
to us about the
yeah,
pain. Was it the pain of imposter? Like you seem
oh,
to be doing a great job, but you were feeling like you weren't.
yes, that feeling of I'm doing a great job because I'm being who you want me to be. And what if I'm not that? And I mean, everything hinged on your approval of me. Everything. Like, was I okay? Did you look at me funny today? And it sounds crazy. In hindsight, I could see it a lot more clearly than being in it. But relief for me was drinking.
Yes.
That soothed me. That was like, okay, I can get through tomorrow because I'm getting through tonight. And
It's
it it
therapy.
brought it brought me to my knees. Ultimately, it brought me to my knees of I I got to the point that I wasn't capable of continuing to do the work I was doing because I crashed in every way possible, mentally, physically, financially. I was completely broke, emotionally, and what spirit? I I believed in God, but I didn't think there was a God out there that believed in me. And it was the worst and the best time of my life.
This is so critical, Julie, and I thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that because I'm a certified grief coach as well, and as a certified financial planner. And in time, not immediately, but in time, widowed people say it was the worst thing that happened to me and the best because they don't take life for granted anymore. And you're not
Exactly.
taking life for granted anymore either. So talk to us about this is so curious when we think about like when we just think instead of feel and be and integrate
Yeah.
and intuit. But when we think about alcohol, drugs, any kind of escape, right? Any kind of
Hmm.
self-medication, we're
Hmm.
escaping that which we fear. But really what ends up happening is that escape route ends up taking us lower than we ever started. That's addiction. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's addiction,
Yeah.
right?
Well, addiction is really about not feeling.
Exactly.
It's, I will do anything not to feel. I mean, I find some of the most successful, brilliant, beautiful women I know came from trauma,
Oh, right now, all
right?
day,
Came from their childhood,
all
right?
day.
And so unprocessed, all of it. And coming to that point, crashing the way I crashed, I hadn't paid my rent in months. And I mean, it was unbelievable. When I woke up from it all, it's like, how did that happen? And the day I surrendered to that, I walked through the doors of AA. That happened to be my journey. I said yes to me. I said yes to life.
Life.
And I knew I wasn't willing to spend one more day feeling the way I was feeling because it was that or death. I mean, it comes down to that.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. And making that decision and that choice. I mean, I thought all I had to do was stop drinking and everything would be okay. We're very naive. And the truth was, of course, that's where my work began. But if someone had told me, so I'm 31 years clean and sober, if
Oh,
someone had told me that simple decision was going to change my whole life, the trajectory of my life changed in a magnificent way that was unimaginable to me in those moments.
how long were you addicted to alcohol?
So I was 41 when I came in, and I had been drinking since, 15.
Okay, so I want you to opine on this because, like, I've met and respected quite a few people that have overcome alcoholism and are recovering, and they like the most especially the most vivid memory and when it first clicked on within my brain because he said it is Dan Sullivan of the strategic coach and he started drinking when he was like 18 or something and so then I don't know 40 maybe he became sober and really what you're talking about when you address he is how he explained I want your opinion when you address like a 40-year-old Dan but he was really an 18-year-old because that's when he stopped to process
Yeah,
that's the natural
emotional.
that he had stalled
Yeah,
at. So did you experience that?
absolutely. Emotionally, I didn't know how to process any emotions. Here I was a grown woman, I had children, and I was completely inept at being with myself, my emotions, and having the ability to deal with life and conversations and all of those things. And that was the journey. And it was it was amazing. And all the right people were put in my path, and I did some personal work. And, we know how it all works. And I was 5 years into that when I started my first business.
Wow.
And I just, when you get that feeling, and I didn't know what intuition was, and I didn't understand all that, but somehow I was being guided. And I remember my first sponsor said to me, she said, everything's based on this idea of a higher power.
Yes.
And I'm like, and I said to her, here's the thing for me, I'm all in. I'm going to go into this. I'll believe it all. I'll believe there's something greater out there for me. But if I find out that's not true, it's going to destroy me. And
Sure.
she said, I'll take that walk with you. And there it was. And so, I started out thinking there was a man in the sky with a long white beard.
Yes. Of course.
It's like, that's where just all I could conceive of. I mean, today it's very, very different. And yeah, I started my first business because I thought I'm just going to do that. I didn't want to be under anyone else's thumb anymore, if kind of a funny way to put it, but control was important.
Right.
And I went to banks and met with managers and said, this is what I'm capable of doing. And they started sending me clients.
Wow. So you started your first business as an accountant or in the accounting field still?
Yeah, accounting and bookkeeping.
Okay. So talk to us then about how you progressed.
And I think for a lot of us as women and different generations that we came from and culturally where we were raised from, making decisions, big decisions like that for ourselves takes a lot of courage.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I started that business and I went to banks and told them how great I was and what I could do. And they started sending me clients. And I created a very successful business, much to my surprise, but I really liked it. But what I loved was working with the business owner, and we would do cash flows and projections and talk about what was possible, and they'd share what they were afraid of and the rest of it. And there was something in me that said, Julie, there's something more for you. And I knew I wanted to go deeper with people. I had been doing my own work. I felt what freedom felt like. I knew what it was like to start to be spiritually connected. And I wanted to do that with others. And I did a simple prayer, and it was just something like, God, if there's something more for me, I'm here. I'm ready. Just show me in a way I can understand. And that afternoon, a client mentioned they were going to a weekend workshop on how to change outdated beliefs. And my body lit up. And I thought, oh, and so I got the information and I called, and oh, there was a spot open. So I went to that. And from there, I went back to school and became a psychotherapist. And I was still running my accounting business. I was out in Western Canada doing my work and doing payrolls and spreadsheets for boardroom meetings. And I fast tracked what I was doing. So within 18 months, I opened my private practice.
Yes. Oh,
And
True Quest.
well, it was called
That's the
Solid.
center. That's the
It was
center part.
called the Julie Flippin Center. That's what I called it. And I opened my private practice. And I remember the first person that came in that was a stranger, it wasn't a family or friend that was actually going to pay me.
Exactly.
Um, I mean, this was like almost 20 years ago. And he actually contacted me this week and said, I'm ready to up level. Can we do some more work together? It was just like,
Great is
but
that.
I I opened my practice. I just fell in love. I eventually sold the bookkeeping and accounting business. And then I opened a full center that went with it. I started teaching courses and I loved it. I was in love. I worked with children. We'd get on the floor with big pieces of paper and draw out their beliefs and the whole thing. So 9 years in, have you ever gotten, Deborah? the sourced tap on your shoulder,
Oh, yeah, right on.
that quiet tap that says, time to get off the couch. And I was like, you have got to be kidding. This is the second business I've created, and it was really successful
It was
with
going
a
great.
little tiny yellow page ad that said, do you have unfounded fears that are stopping you from living your life fully? That was it. Because we didn't have social media back then. It's
Yeah.
different today. And people would call and I would say, what? I'm just wondering how you heard of me. And they said, oh, that yellow page ad. And I said, well, was there something about it? And they said, I don't know. I just felt something when I read it. And I started to understand energy. Oh, that ad had an energy signature to it, right? And so that's how I built my business and taught courses. And so when I got the little tap that said, time to get off the couch, that was not good news.
Yeah.
No, I changed the type of clients I had, I changed the type of courses. I did everything I could to ease this dis-ease within me. And I didn't have a disease, but you know what I'm saying, to um, be able to not have to stop. And then it's like it was done. And I went to a conference and I saw a woman on stage and I fell in love with the idea of talking to people about building business, and she was holding us from the inside, and my body lit up and I hired her and I gave that practice up because I couldn't sell it because it was me.
Yeah.
And I knew it was time to start coaching and working with entrepreneurs. And I had this deep sense that I could make a difference, that I knew what was missing and what could possibly help them. And
You had gotten that ignition, in yourself. I mean, that's that spark,
yeah,
and the ember was fanned in yourself, and then you're like, all right, these people are talking about more than the numbers, even though the numbers did excite you. I could see that.
of course, yes. I love numbers. That was like nirvana for my left brain.
Yeah, I know. I
Numbers,
was
they're
like,
logical, it's easy. But over here on the right brain, that real creative side, ooh, that's juicy and it's fun. And yeah, it felt
expansive.
very different.
Yes, yes, yes. Wow. Well, this is a very rare combination to be left and right brain developed as you are. I
Whole
kind
brain.
Yeah, I know I say to people I can think 30,000 foot thoughts and then I can spot a typographical error a football field away. And so it's just kind of like, yeah, numbers,
Right.
yet I'm really an empath. So we can do it all. And that brings us to the holistic nature of your business. You talk about evolving from spiritual phenomena to exploring emotions, the mind, trauma, and that guided a lot of your practice. Now, talk to us about your books. Julie has authored 3 books. Is the third one out? You have Faith, Finding Answers in the Heart, and then you have The True Quest, which is that what you later changed the Julie Lippin Flippin
Flippin'.
Center to, or was it a
Well, the faith was a collaboration.
okay?
And so I wrote a chapter.
Okay.
And then I had my next business after the Julie Flippin Center was called Small Business Savvy.
Oh, wow.
And I wrote a book designed specifically to uh, feature me as an author so I could start speaking. And that's how I really grew that business. I did a lot of speaking. I did a lot of conferences and booths and that whole thing. It was called Pitiful or Powerful, You
Oh, I
Choose.
saw that. Yes, and that is a fun title right now. So talk us through that.
Yeah, so Pitiful or Powerful, You Choose was really about deciding what do you want to be, and then the kind of I write through story the instruction of how do I actually start to change, and then how did my thinking, um, how did it show up energetically.
Yes.
So if I was in fear, all I could see was fear, and if I was in joy, then ooh, what opened up for me. So starting to understand how thoughts create reality, but
Mm-hmm.
in a way of from energy, and really started to hone in on that.
Right. Right.
And Deborah, honestly, I'm such a teacher. I don't, I've never thought of myself that way, but I had to actually do a whole journal that went with it for people to do their own work.
Love that. Love
Get the
that.
book, get the journal. And
Yes.
so did that, and it worked very well. I mean, it positioned me beautifully in the marketplace. I went into a studio and recorded it, and we had CDs so
Yes.
people could put it in their car when they were traveling,
I had them. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. We all did.
right?
Yeah.
That's how I did my learning when
Right
I
now.
was traveling.
Oh,
Hmm.
I was, Dr. Susan Jeffers was a dear friend of mine, wrote Field of Fear and Do It Anyway. And she
Yeah.
was
Oh, I love that.
hysterical. Oh, gosh, I love that woman.
Mm.
She was hysterical because she said she would be, we were all like, all of us were listening to CDs in our car. Like, I don't know any tunes. Get me on the dance floor, everybody's mouth. I have no, but I know about the 12 best speeches ever recorded. And she
Yeah.
was talking about getting to someplace, and she was always early, getting to someplace, but she'd stay in her car almost until she was late finishing the CD. So they were very powerful.
Very powerful. Yes. Yeah. And so I spent years, I created a very successful coaching practice. And then I came to this place where I was feeling really alone. For a lot of us entrepreneurs, it's a lonely place up
It is.
here. And I was getting that kind of that nudge again. And I thought to myself, what would it be like to work with other people? Like I didn't want to create a huge big team and all of that, but I thought, I wonder what would it be like to be on a team and do what I love. I taught sales. I It's one of my favorite things to teach
Yeah.
is sales and coaching, strategy, clearing up all the outdated beliefs that are holding people back, helping people fall in love with who they were, connecting them to all their gifts so that they could be their most powerful self. And I was excited about that. And what if I could just do that? I didn't have to do all the marketing. And I mean, we know everything that goes into running a business and helping a lot of people create
Much.
successful businesses.
Yeah.
And so I joined a team and I worked with the team, and it was so much fun. I had a blast doing that. And so I worked with that for a while. And I was very, very successful in that. And then 5 years ago, my son died and my world stopped
Of course it did.
and I couldn't save him. And all the knowledge, all the love, I couldn't save another person, and especially him. And he was an addict, and he wanted to get clean so badly. And we got him in a 60-day rehab. And it was like my prayer at one time, he was in so much pain. I said, God, if there is a way for Ryan to find joy and peace in this life, please bring it. Bring it in a way that he can step into it. And God, if there isn't, may he be, may he make his transition in a way that's easy and with light and love. And Deborah, I meant those words.
I can
I
tell.
meant them.
I can tell.
And it was probably 6 months later he got arrested for he had heroin on him, and I bailed him out under the condition he would go. And he said, Mom, I want to get clean, but being addicted to heroin and fentanyl, your bones hurt. Like it's not a simple thing. And so got him into a 60-day rehab. He seemed to do really well there, and brought him home. and my husband and I said, let's stay. We'll stay with him because we live in 3 different places. And so my husband was away. So we were together, Ryan and I, and we had the most wonderful week together and connected and loved. And then I woke up one morning and I found him and he was gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And my life changed. And um, so I took a sabbatical for a few years, and which brings me to my 3rd book, which was called The True Quest. And it was how to find joy from devastation. And you said you work with grief and help coach people. So you have an understanding that when these turns in life come, and I learned so much, I couldn't put him on my path. He was on his path. And could I accept and love him for who he was and see him as whole and complete instead of, something different? And that's was what I was being asked spiritually to do, to be able to hold him in a way that he felt okay. And he made the choices he made. It wasn't, it was accidental. And it was probably about, I channel. And so
Yes.
it was probably maybe 8 months after he passed, he came through. I had been out listening to some absolutely amazing podcast that
Yeah.
was like, oh,
Yeah.
and I got home and I looked up, there was a picture of him on the wall, and I had that same feeling like, I wish it could have been different. And he came through and he said, Mom, I knew you were strong enough to have this experience with me. And I knew it would change your life. And the way you work with people, I knew your work would be so much deeper and more. And I thought, okay, okay, let's do it. And he knew from a young age he wasn't going to live. He told me that from when he was young. He'd only lived to a certain age. And so I don't know. Do we come through with a purpose? Is there a time? Is all of that preordained? I don't know. But I can tell you that every belief I had about life and death and God or source, the divine, was challenged.
Absolutely.
It's so
Have
easy
to
to
test
say,
that.
oh,
You're in the fire. It's tested in the fire.
yeah, like, do you really believe all of this? That all the things you say? Because here we are. And I found out later he had used in rehab and a whole bunch of things that happened that I wasn't told. And I had to do work around that. And so that was where my next book came. And it was a healing book for me. And I was hoping for others. And it's called The True Quest. And it was the journey back, because there is joy after, there is life after,
Yes, there is.
which I'm sure you help a lot of people with. And I bless you for that.
Uh,
And yeah, so I'm back on my own. I've relaunched The True Quest, and I'm just finishing my next book. And it's called Divinely Seasoned: Sacred Aging with Wisdom, Wonder, and Joy. I know.
love
I'm
that.
just getting ready to publish. And because when I turned 70, I freaked out. Literally. It's like, all the cultural beliefs that we somehow absorb, we don't even know we have them. And, and then I hit 70, and it's like, oh my God, seriously? Seriously. And my brain's going to shrink, my body's going to give up. Like, I did all this work and here I am with this. Are you kidding me? I did use other language in there. I was
I
just being
suspect,
polite.
I suspect you did.
And so yeah, for the past, I went to work for 18 months. I started to work on myself and talk to people who were going through, I think a lot of us go through this, and came out the other side to say, I get to be here.
right now.
Oh, I got it. Ah, I get to be here. And I had an amazing, I went to a retreat in Guatemala.
Mm.
And after my son passed, maybe 18 months, 2 years, I went to a retreat and I worked with, I had someone who did massage with one of the healers there, but she also worked with different parts of who we are. And that's one of my specialties. And so I was very attracted to her. And I went to her, and I mean, she gets right up on your back with her knees, like she's a little thing. She gets in there and she said, now, is there a part of you that you would like to speak to? And I said, yes, I'd like to speak to my future self. And she said, just open and invite. And so I'm laying there and having this wonderful body work done, and this beautiful, luminous, white haired, I don't know, 85, 88-year old comes forward. And here's what she said to me: Julie, as you age, people won't care what you know, what you remember, or how brilliant you are. People will want to be in your presence because of the way they feel when they are with you. They will want to be with you because they feel the love for themselves that they don't feel otherwise. So don't worry about any of that. Bring your presence, your love everywhere you go. And Debra, I thought, okay, all right, I'm up for it.
That I can do. Oh
That I can
my gosh,
do.
that is so profound. Uh, it's really moving me. And just in the research I did, you had developed at one point an 8-step sales process, which was really, as you called it, an energetic dance. And so it kind of puts the whole framework, the energy. I mean, life is energy. I mean, I talk about money is energy. I mean, I knew that as an 8-year-old
Yeah,
girl, right? And so you're talking about this shifting and so forth of energy. And incidentally, I do believe that we contract, in every lifetime. And because I've heard enough stories, like, I mean, being a certified grief coach, going through the certification for 2 years and then hearing hundreds of stories. And,
yes.
people's husband died, when they were married 2 years and, they're both in their 20s. And the person that certified it says, like, yeah, I guess that, some they asked, all right, who wants to go teach people how to do 22 years together? And she says, apparently my husband put up his hand. She says, I wasn't conscious of putting up my hand, but there we are, so it was just interesting. I mean, she was kind of half kidding, but she was not really half kidding. I mean, I think that I believe in that. Now, whether that's true or not is immaterial to this interview, but I want to talk about you giving women perhaps a little bit of a antenna if they haven't paid attention to these energetic nudges before. How can we start to be attentive and receptive to that? Do you have any tips?
That's such a brilliant question and something to talk about. It There's no simple answer to that. What I will say is there's getting to know ourselves. I think culturally we're taught to live outside as to how to be acceptable to the world.
Of course.
And so we're not necessarily held and taught how to be authentic and acceptable to ourselves. And I think that's the journey. We go through different transitions and transformations in order to find who we are, to tune in and tap into that deeper part of ourselves. And with spirit, and honestly, I would say whether you believe or not, it doesn't mean that something, this power doesn't believe in you. You're still
Yeah.
going to receive messages. There's going to be coincidences that happen, things like that. And it's, we have an idea. So here's where it starts. Oh, I have an idea. I know. I'll go back to school and become a psychotherapist, or I'll get sober. And so my question always to them is, where do you think the idea came from?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I have an idea. All right, well, I'm not really giving credit to anywhere else. It's probably just how brilliant I am that I suddenly have this idea. And then as we get to know ourselves better, and what I want to say is the real gift here, there is so much available to each and every one of us if we are willing to do some of the work and step out. If people only knew what was sitting right here that wants to come through, that wants to be in, and that wants to show up so powerfully, they'd be running to say, sign me up for something. And I'm not talking about selling them something. I'm saying they'd be like, teach me, show me, let me read. I want to open. I want to connect to this. I want to hear. So we have a thought, and that thought is going to make me fearful. Or, you and I talked about how we light up. And so we know we have a nudge, a thought, an idea. The question is, are you going to do anything about it? Or is it just a thought? Because I think your intuition will come through as a thought. It's got to land up here consciously. I have to cognitively be able to hold this, whatever it was. And we get them all the time, whether we're conscious of them or not. The question is, are you going to do anything about it? Are you going to, like I did, change the types of clients for almost 2 years, change this, change that? Or am I simply going to go, oh, do something else? Okay. So the work isn't, I don't think it's about the connection or having the intuition or the thought. I think it's clearing and trusting ourselves enough to have the courage
Right
to
there.
trust it.
Right there. Mhm, mhm, mhm. And sometimes it has to, like, I think it was Oprah that said, we'll have a thought and it kind of be like a nudge. And then at some point, a two before will come along and say, do this for the love of God, do this, before I have to level you. But I mean, yeah, best to notice these things early on.
And that's really my story. It's like I wasn't listening to the thought. It's like eventually I'd get hit over the head. I remember early in sobriety, I was out walking one day and I just felt all my wits end and I felt down and everything wasn't changing as quickly. And I'm walking. We have this beautiful walk around the lake. I live also just north of Toronto and in northern Canada. And so I'm walking and I had this thought, and here was the thought: go to the church on Yonge Street. And here was my response: I don't think so. I'm not going to any church. That's ridiculous. And I'm walking and I have the thought again: go to that church, go there now. And I literally, 20 minutes, who am I arguing with? I don't know. Right. And so finally I said, okay, fine, I'm going. But no one's going to be there. It's Saturday afternoon. It's overcast. It's raining. I go to the church. I thought, okay, I go to the door and it's open. It's like, oh my gosh, the door is open. So I go in and I open the doors to the inner where, the services are. And there's a man up at the front and he's setting up equipment, band equipment. And so I start walking up and he looks up and he said, can I help you? And I started to cry. I said, I don't know. I don't know why I'm here. And he came down and it happened to be the pastor. He said, I was just getting ready to leave. And he sat with me for an hour and I just said, I'm so lost. And I hadn't surrendered. I hadn't completely accepted this power, the divine love, light. And he helped me just hold a vision, not of his faith, but that there was something greater. And I went to church for maybe a year. I couldn't walk in a church after that without crying. I
I'm
was
sure.
so empty, and I wanted something so badly. And um, that started with a thought that I argued with. And I know for anyone listening to this, they are going to know how much they argue with their thoughts that want to come.
You
It's
do, and
not
you are right. You
not just us. And there was about maybe 9 or 10 months later, they were doing the baptism. And I thought, I wanted to, it was like a declaration for me of saying that I'm going down this road, not the religious road, the spiritual road. I'm going down this road, and this is just, it's kind of an anchoring in. And so, of course, I didn't tell anyone because what would they think of me, right? I've turned into some kind of a religious person. And so I
yeah,
just thought I'll just go myself. And I sat in the parking lot and I saw the parents with the little kids going,
of course.
were going to be baptized. And I was so afraid to get out of my car. And I said, I'm afraid and I'm alone. And I felt this presence say, it's okay, just go. So I opened the car door and I walk in, and my neighbors are standing there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you doing here? And they're little girls getting baptized. And they said, what are you doing here? And I said, oh, I'm getting baptized tonight. And they said, where's the kids? Where's your family? And of course, the tears again. I'm not a crying person, and I said, oh, I just came alone. And they said, can we be your family tonight? And I was like, I love that. And they witnessed me and they were my family. And it, my point to this is when we have those nudges, when we're being shown, we don't have to worry about how we'll be held or how we'll be supported. There's something there for me. I call it GIPA. There's a chapter in my book called GIPA, and that says God is paying attention. And I have a whole story around GIPA and how that came to be. And if I just have a little more faith and a little more trust and a little more love for myself, everything will change. There are things waiting for each and every one of us. But we have to choose, we have to decide. I had to decide to put down the alcohol. That's where it started. And Deborah, honestly, I was looking up some different things with you, and I was imagining all the decisions and the choices that you made to be sitting here having this beautiful conversation with me today.
Yeah, we have, Julie. And this is curious because it dovetails so beautifully with, well, first of all, I researched and I have tons of pages of notes, but this, it's written about and unlike traditional coaching, which is, you're doing the measurable outcomes and the practical business practice. Traditional coaching is really teacher centered, like the sage on the stage, and yet you embody guide on the side.
Yeah.
Oh, to me,
Yes.
that is
Yeah.
just
I
profound.
love that. I love that. Yeah.
And so you've been the guide on the side, and then there were your neighbors who were the guide on the side.
Yes. And those are oh my gosh, this is, I think, what intuition is about.
No, no question. No question.
It's, it's an idea. Like, I think sometimes people think, well, I'm going to get this, it's going to be a lightning bolt and it's
Yeah.
going to be this and that. What if it's just a thought? And not knowing where that thought came from. What if it's that simple? And if we are able to tune in at all, we have a feeling with the thought that we are having.
Right.
And if that feeling is, I'm afraid, there's anxiety, it's like there may be some worry going on.
Yeah.
But if it's, ooh, that's going to take a lot of nerve for me to, ooh, like, I'm sure you remember the first few times on stage and what would people think of me, and all of that. Well, it can happen today. I felt nervous coming today. I've had a lot going on personally, as you know. And it's like, oh, and then I laugh at myself, and it's like, oh my gosh, just show up.
Right.
Be who you are.
Right.
Does it get old? Do we
Well,
outgrow it?
we all get nervous. I think that's a sign of professionalism. This whole thing about, and I hate to call anybody out because you're the professional, and yet, you say, what if it's just a thought? And we all talk like this. I talk like this. And the last 6 months or so, I am doing everything I can to take that word just out of my book. It's a thought.
Mm,
Oh,
I like that.
that's just nothing. Wait a minute.
Just, oh, it's
That
just me.
just me. I just this old rag. This is an old rag, and I it's
Oh,
just been
I
curious.
love that.
Take out just
Take out just. Take out just.
because if we have that thought, to your point, it's not going to come like a bolt of lightning at 12 noon or 12 midnight. And say I'm the thought, right? And so I
It's me.
yeah, I'm here. You called. So I think that that calls us into this more expansive awareness and openness to thoughts.
Exactly. Am I listening? Am I paying attention? And the secret is to get to know who we are. And this is why when we started, we talked about building from the inside out,
Right.
growing from the inside out. This is what it is. If I'm so full of all these ways I've been taught and raised and the beliefs I have, it's hard to hear anything else. It's jumbly, but the more I clear and I'm able to see the beauty, the light, the love within myself, the more I do that, the more open I am. And
Totally.
I absolutely love this idea of getting rid of the word just. Just a real quick story about that.
Yeah.
So I was maybe a year in sobriety and I went for outside help because I needed it. I grew up, my dad he was a very violent alcoholic, used to get the shotgun out and threaten to kill us, and lots of violence. And so I'm going to see this psychologist, and I've been going for a while, and I go this one day and he said, so how are you doing? How's everything going? And I said, yeah, pretty good. He said, are you having dreams or anything? And I said, well, I do get dreams. I said, just people trying to kill me, like those, but I'm okay with those now. And he said to me, just people trying to kill you. And I'm like, yeah, like I'm not anxious about it. And he said, Julie, just. And that word, when you said that, he said, just people, like, do you not see your value? Like, oh my gosh, you're dreaming about people trying to kill you. And it took 10 minutes for it to enter into my brain that there was something wrong with that
Of
picture.
course, it had
But
become
that word
vital.
just,
It was embedded.
uh-huh, just people, just. And that's a powerful word. That is, I'm justing. I am justing. I am unjusting myself.
Love it, sister. When you were just talking, like we've got to get rid of some of that old. And so I reached down, I went away from the camera for a minute because of course, I love analogies. And so
Yes.
I always say, like, this is a softball mitt, right? But if we hold it like this, you can't catch the ball. We have to be ready for
Yeah.
incoming
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love that.
balls, right? But absent, an open mind, whatever, we're going to miss a lot of these gems because maybe
Yes.
the angels are giving us some gems. And if we're saying, don't see those gems, they're giving to someone else, right? Because if you're an angel, I'd like to have my gems, multiplied. But anyway, I'm just opining, which is kind of not my part here as the interviewer. Sorry. So
Oh,
you have reinvented yourself so many times, and each time I'm sensing the progression as I did when I looked you up, that it was so much more expansive and open to like exactly the next step, right? Because you're intuitive. You've done a great deal of healing. I mean, losing a child is just losing a child is horrific. And for you to be able to accept that. So you said, yeah, you turned to alcohol, you conquered that, and you released your son, you released guilt and so forth. This is so valuable for us women to forgive, if you will, release,
mm,
catch. We understand it, we distill it, we take what is lessons and shed the rest,
mm,
because we're coming into
absolutely.
a new era, a new season, a new setting, if you will, of these nudges. And I
Yes.
like to be as ready as we can. And you're doing the work to guide and coach people to be as ready as they can. So you interweave spirituality and intuition and so forth as a big role in your coaching. You've got books, courses. How could people work with you? Do you have individual one-on-one? Do you have groups? Talk to us about how people can work with you.
Yeah, currently I'm working one-on-one with people. I work with individuals and entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Yeah, so if someone, and I've got both types of clients, and I love both. For me, the work is the same until we get to what do we want to create?
There you
And
go.
then we'll go into the full strategy over here for the entrepreneur and really honing their skills. And for the individual, it's like, where's your soul calling you? And let's create a plan for that. And so currently, that's what I'm doing. I'm sensing that a thought I had when my book is launched, and I'm launching it around the end of October,
Good.
I'm feeling like I want to start to create a group, a, not not a membership or anything like that, but some kind of a group of women who feel like they're divinely seasoned and are really excited or want to be really excited about what's next. And I'd love to do that. So I've had a thought about that. Currently, I'm not working with groups, I'm working one on one. I do have some spots available, and people are welcome to email me at julie@thetruequest.com. They can go onto my website. I have an awesome 30-day journal, which asks them a question every day. And then we do a little assessment at the end of the 30 if they feel like they're ready to dive in a little. And that's just a gift if they're interested in that.
Well, I thank you. And so just repeat your email address. We're going to put in the show notes, but go ahead and repeat it,
Sure.
please.
Yeah, Julie at thetruequest.com.
And your website.
Thetruequest.com.
There you go.
Thank you.
Well, is there any parting thought that you want to leave us with to wrap this? Because I am so blessed by the experience, and I'm hoping that we touched on things that were of value. But is there
I
another, or
hope so.
yet is there another thing that you'd like to leave us with?
One of the things that seems to be up for some of different clients I have that I'm working with is we have automatic reactions to things. I get angry. I don't do, I feel guilty. It's like, why did I do that? I can't believe I did that. Oh, I made a mistake. And one of the things I've been working with people on are some of those types of things. It's like part of our human nature almost, is starting to have compassion and love for the part of us that's not doing it perfect, not maybe doing it that way it'd be acceptable. So when I think of oh, I can't believe I did that. Oh, that was so stupid. To be able to catch that and say, it's okay. I'm not stupid. We're okay. It's like, we'll do it. We'll do it different the next time. And if I could leave anything with people, it's just two things. When you get up every day, ask, what wants to come through me today?
Oh,
What
yes.
would be the opportunities for me? And if you could fall in love with yourself just a little bit more, your life will change.
Oh, well, that's a mic drop moment right there. If you could fall in
Right?
love with yourself a little bit more, your life will change. And who of us isn't open to more light in our life, more life in our years? And that is excellent advice. And for that and this entire hour, I thank you, Julie. You've been an absolute delight as a guest, and your work is exemplary on so many fronts. I honor you, and I thank you. This has really been rich. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deborah. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. And so, thank you for joining us on the We Can Do It Women show. Remember, I see you, I value you, and your greatest chapter is just beginning. I invite you to check out our Wealth and Wellness luxury retreat in the south of France, which we're closing down the enrollment for this week. If you'd love to mesh cultural experiences in the south of France with some financial empowerment, we'd love to join you and have you join us. And remember, pay attention to your money, and it will surely pay you back. Until next time, be well.